Hey everyone, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe, hit the like, share it with somebody else with a car that does their own maintenance or that wants to learn how to do their own maintenance. And if you are already a subscriber, thanks for coming back. So today I'm going to show you guys a piece of routine maintenance that often gets overlooked. It's not talked about in any owner's manuals. The dealership's not going to tell you to do it. They're just going to wait for a part to fail, and meanwhile, as it's failing, it's going to be affecting the performance of your vehicle. All right, so what are we talking about here? Well, I'm showing you a picture of intake valves because we're talking about the PCV system and how it contributes to carbon buildup on your intake valves. You probably heard of people talk about your intake valves needing to be cleaned or walnut blasted or whatever because of misfiring or reduced performance. Well, with direct injected engines, as some of you might know, you have a PCV system which recirculates crankcase air with blow-by gases back into the intake of the vehicle to be burned again by the combustion cycle. The reason for this, it's emission related. And while that's great for the environment, it's terrible for your engine. So because cars are now direct injected, fuel isn't port injected and not washing over the backside of the intake valves. So all you get on the backside of the intake valves is air from the outside and those blow-by gases with oil vapors in them. What we can do to reduce some of that, the car has a PCV system with a series of valves installed inside to reduce or eliminate the oil that comes out of the blow-by gases and not allowing it to enter the intake system. Well, over time, that can build up oil vapors in the PCV lines, and they can get blocked, clogged, sticky. And when that happens, it throws off the balance of pressure inside those lines and can allow actually more oil than intended to enter your intake valves, creating an issue down the road at higher mileage. So what I like to do is just a simple maintenance on it. I just spray it down. I pull the lines off the car, spray it down, make sure everything's working like it should, and put it back on the car. So that's what I'm going to show you today. Every engine has some blow-by gases that go into the oil pan area of your engine, and that has to be vented out somewhere. If it didn't vent out anywhere, you'd have leaky gaskets all over your engine. It creates so much pressure in there that eventually you just have oil leaks. So they install a ventilation system. Well, the EPA says, you can't just vent those gases into the atmosphere. So cars have to be designed to recirculate those back into the intake system of your car. That's what causes the gunked up intake valves you see sometimes, people talk about. Well, it's the PCV lines that are causing that to happen. So there's one here on this. This is, your car may only have one set. This car has two. Most cars now have two. One on bank 1 and another one on bank 2. That's actually a valve that's part of the PCV system. That's the part that I'm going to talk about where the maintenance is important, because there's a valve in each one of these, a little flap. And if that flap gets stuck, pressure can build beyond what it's normally supposed to do. And when that pressure releases, it'll send that oily air back into your intake tract, right into your turbos. So it's normal for every car to have maybe a little bit in there, but if you have excessive oil consumption, you're noticing a lot of buildup in there in your intake, these are probably bad. And these lines can all get gunked up with oil. So if you go to a quick oil change, they may overfill your oil. By the way, always check your oil after you leave an oil change, after getting it done by someone other than yourself. It's not uncommon for them to overfill it. And all that extra oil, it's coming right through here. It's going right back into your intake. So yeah, what I'm going to do is show you how to take this apart, show you how to clean it, show you how it works. Why would you want to do that? What are some of the symptoms? Well, if you have a rough idle, sluggish acceleration, and some engine misfires, yeah, it could be caused by ignition coils. It could be caused by spark plugs. That's what everyone wants to go to first. But they always seem to neglect what I think is one of the most important things to check first. Because if that's blocked up, you're gonna have a rough idle. There's no doubt about it, especially on these BMWs. If you have a rough idle and you can't figure it out, you change plugs, you change coils, you can't get to the bottom of it, it's probably your PCV system. So I'm gonna show you how to take it apart real quick. Very easy. We'll take our airbox lids off. T25. Next step is going to be to carefully loosen these O2 sensor lines. All right, so the airbox and the M550i, it just basically presses in, but first you need to squeeze these intake tubes down here on the sides, and they'll pop right out of the airbox. It takes a little muscle. This side's free. And the airbox just pulls up. Over here on the bank 2 side. And yours is going to look slightly different than this because I have this catch can installed on here. But basically, in order to disconnect these lines, there's these little clips right here. So the clip, you just got to pull up on that metal clip, and then it should allow you to separate it from the connection right there. So here we are on the garage floor. This is off. Normally it sits on the car like this. Those are those 2 valves I was showing you. And inside of here, there's a little flap. You can see it right there. And there's a little bit of oil residue in there, which is okay. Driver's side's actually pretty dry. So when you shake it, that flap should go back and forth. That means it's working right. It means it's not gunked up. The other side, not quite as good. Let's see if I can hold these screws. It is, but it sounds a little gunked up. It's not quite as clean as the other one. So what we can do to clean that out, I'm gonna use this mass airflow sensor cleaner. You guys can see the oily residue coming out of there. Yours might be gunked up worse than this if you've never done this. Got a little pipe cleaner, you can kind of get in there. Looks like the water coming out is clean, or the cleaner coming out is not brown anymore. All right, then to make sure I get it nice and dried out, I'm just using some canned air. If you have an air compressor, even better. I know it probably goes without saying, but just do a quick once-over inspection. Make sure no tubes are torn, punctured, cracked. None of the plastic's cracked or leaking or look damaged at all. If everything looks like it's in good shape, you're good to put it back on the car. Now we will put it back on the car. Well, boys and girls, that's it. How long did that take me? I don't know, maybe a total of 25-30 minutes at the most. And I got those valves all cleaned out so that I know that they're functioning properly and I'm not allowing oil or blow-by gases to build up on my intake valves, because that's the problem with turbocharged, well, really any direct injected car. So in order to avoid that, you got to make sure that system's functioning properly. Sure, you can take it to BMW. They're not going to do that. They're going to replace the whole thing, and it's going to cost you hundreds, if not more. So much easier to just clean it when you got a chance. Hope that helps you guys. If it did, you know, please subscribe. Definitely like the video. Helps with the algorithm. helps me grow this channel just a little bit more so I can keep making content. Thanks for tuning in, guys.